In Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, we met a handful of new characters, both good and bad, but one that stood out to probably everyone is Ollie. He is a major new character in Chapter 3. He kind of came out of nowhere, which leads to a ton of questions surrounding him. So let's take a look at who or what he might be. The only thing we really know about Ollie is that he is a child and he's on our side. We never actually see him throughout the entire chapter, although he can see us. His only way of communicating with us is through the phone. He seems to care about us for some reason, also being very upbeat and joyful, acting like your typical kid. He also wants to help Poppy stop the prototype and save all of the toys. Now, other than what I just mentioned, we don't really know much about him, although he seems to know a lot about the Playcare. With that being said, I have a few theories about who he might be. After we escape the trash compactors and made our way to the underground tunnels, we get a random phone call. Once we answer it, we hear Ollie's voice. He tells us we look lost and that he doesn't want us to die, so he is going to help us. He then sends us a battery through a tube. This simple information is pretty useful. Ollie is able to not only see us, but he's also able to control things in the Playcare. He also expresses how Poppy needs us. We are his mission, and together we can save a lot of people. Ollie continues on with information about Catnap, telling us how the Playcare is his church, his hunting grounds. So Ollie seems to know a lot about Catnap as well. Once we make it to the Playcare, Ollie calls us again. He tells us there is a really cool room that powers all of Playcare, and that he can give us a key once we're down there. This key gets us into the gas production zone, the beating heart of the Playcare. Ollie explains how the red smoke is made here in the factory. He seems to know a lot about this. Right now, it's in the right chamber and we need it in the left. He says that is the only way to get to him being the prototype, but doesn't elaborate further. He then mentions the machine has a few dumb safeguards, but we should be able to get around them. It's interesting that Ollie, a child, knows this. Ollie also seems to know that each building has a backup generator in them, as he tells us that we need to get them up and running. After turning on the generator in Home Sweet Home, Poppy explains everything to us and that we should receive a call from Ollie. We receive said call from Ollie and he tells us that he knew what Poppy would say to us. I found this interesting. They must be communicating in some way, but if Poppy is able to come see us, why isn't Ollie? Now, after we get out of the playhouse, we hear from Ollie again. He explains to us what exactly that big shrine of dead toys is. Catnap made it for the prototype. Ollie continues on about how Catnap treats the prototype like a god. He worships him. He then tells us how Catnap likes to stalk his prey, how he lurks in the shadows before he attacks. He lives for the hunt. Again, Ollie knows a lot about Catnap. After we finally plug in the power cords, Ollie then gives us a big battery to plug into the gas production zone. And this is the last time we hear from him in the chapter. After we power on the station and transfer the gas to the left chamber, you would think that Ollie would be congratulating us, or at least saying something. I mean, he was the one that told us to move the gas in the first place, so why didn't we hear from him once this was complete? That's very weird in my opinion. Anyways, thanks to all this information, I think we can start putting together all the puzzle pieces. My first theory, and probably the most likely, is that Ollie is a toy. Just like Poppy and Miss Delight, he could be a living toy organism. I mean, clearly Ollie knows a lot about the Playcare. He knows the whole layout of the facility. Just like Poppy, he would be able to move around on his own and control things, sending us multiple batteries and keys, meaning he must be in some kind of control room or something along those lines. He can also see us throughout the Playcare, meaning he is probably watching us through CCTV cameras. As we know, they are scattered throughout the location, considering the Hour of Joy tape. Although, why would he never show himself? This leads me to my next theory. What if Ollie is actually one of the children from the orphanage? This would be why he can't come out and see us. Him and maybe other kids are still alive somewhere. I mean, think about it. The whole purpose of the Hour of Joy was to stop the experiments on the children. So when the onslaught began, they attacked all of the adults and not the kids. Catnap might be keeping all of the still alive children locked away somewhere safe. Maybe in some kind of control room so they can see what's going on at all times. This is how he was able to watch us and send us keys. Now, like I mentioned before, he is also very familiar with Catnap. It's as if Ollie had to witness just how terrifying Catnap really is. To further suggest there could still be children alive, we have to listen to Miss Delight's audio tape. During the tape, it's thought that she is talking to Catnap. She begins by asking where the kids are, continuously begging to know their location, but Catnap refuses to tell her. She asks if they are in the same place as the employees, meaning the dead employees employees that are underneath the facility. Catnap says no to this. She then asks if the children are safe. Catnap says yes, but she's not allowed to see them because Catnap knows she will attack them.
Please, where are the children? Are they in the same place as the employees?
No.
Are the children safe?
Yes.
This is why Ollie can't leave his location. Miss Delight would probably end up attacking him. This is why he only talks to us through the phone. This audio tape could be confirming there are still children alive, considering Catnap said they were safe. Also, Miss Delight asked if they were safe, which, like I mentioned, could mean there are multiple children alive, not just Ollie. Now, the third theory is that the prototype is actually Ollie. I mean, think about it. Ollie knows a lot about the Playcare, and he knows where everything is. The prototype also seems to know where everything is, considering he moves around without being seen. Ollie also knows all about the gas production zone. He explains to us how the gas is made here, and it's a little weird that he tells us to move the gas from the right chamber to the left and says that's the only way to get to him, but he doesn't go into detail about why or what this is doing. It feels like Ollie, or in this instant the prototype, is withholding information in order to trick us into helping him somehow. What is the gas doing on the right side, and what happens if it's on the left? Does this send the gas somewhere else? There is gas inside of Home Sweet Home, so maybe by moving it to the left, it stops pushing the gas into that location. But why would this matter? And if the prototype is Ollie, that means Poppy is also working with the prototype, and she's actually evil. This would mean that the whole time we have been helping the prototype, or the prototype is tricking Poppy as well. But Poppy being evil is a whole different theory. Furthermore, in log 24459, we hear the prototype talk for the very first time. But what's interesting is he doesn't have one voice. The prototype must be using all of the different voice boxes from the dead toys he collects to communicate. He asks the scientist if he can feel the pain they inflict on him. Instead of answering, the scientist mentions there is a secret inside of the prototype, valuable beyond all measure. How he gets closer and closer to it with every cut and prod. Then telling the prototype thank you. He learns something new from him every day. Then the prototype says the exact same thing, but in the scientist's voice, meaning the prototype is able to mimic any voice he hears.
You stick us.
Beat us. Tear at flesh.
Do you feel it?
There's a secret inside you, 1006. Valuable beyond all measure. I cut and prod and burn at it, and I get closer with each session. So speak, or don't. Fight, or give in. Regardless, I learn something new about you every day. It excites me.
Thank you.
You thank me?
Absolutely.
I learn something new about you every day.
This is huge. This could mean that the prototype is just mimicking a child's voice and pretending to be Ollie in order to trick us into helping him. Who do you guys think Ollie is? Is he a toy or a child? Or could he even be the prototype? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifyT. Thanks for watching.